good morning. Good morning, good morning. Oh God, winter dry skin. Hey everybody, my name is Marty. Let me get going there. I was all distracted by my own itchy. All right, we're talking today about processing versus clearing. I said processing, clearing like it's the same thing, but it's not really. It's processing is a lot of working through it, understanding it, talking about it. I'll be repeating this because I'm going to let people show up here for a minute while I look at some notes. and I got some cards out because tomorrow, holy cow, already it's February. Can you believe it? And tomorrow is the full moon. Wild. All right. Good morning. Good morning. And then I got, just go look at what I have and see what attracts me. And that's what I pick. And try not to get too many. So 4 today is the decks I have. I don't know that I'll use them all. Would that be Miss Mel that's here? Of course, I have my dragon deck. And then I have the Talisman Oracle. Really cool deck. All right, just tossing the boxes there on the floor. Oh, I don't need that. Oh, she was talking about this. My friend was talking about this. The Talisman, and then there's these little, in this little envelope in the deck are these little cards. A little kind of clear things that you can put over and trace them, so you can put them wherever you need them. I did not even know. I didn't even look at this when I opened it, so I didn't even know what was in there. All right. Cool. A little bonus. Okie dokie. Oh my goodness. It's like 10, maybe 15 now here. I know that's not as cold as some places, but coming from California, it's cold. All right. Yeah, so processing. Okay, so let's come back to this. Processing versus clearing. And we get into that. Something shows up, something triggers us. And I'll make sure my hair tears out. It feels weird. The light doesn't usually show the whole thing. Whatever. Not a big deal. Taking a breath. Collecting myself here. Come back to center. Stop being distracted. Okay. Ready? All right. When we process, I've done a lot of this. I'm sure many of you have done a lot of this, right? We talk about it, we journal it, we have to understand it, we have to name the emotions, and all of that's important. It is important. It gives us, the understanding helps give me some meaning. It also sometimes will help me clear and release whatever emotions I have built up about it from the story, because the story just keeps us looping, right? When we keep telling the story and recreating the same chemistry in the body, we just keep the trauma alive and we keep looping through it. And we don't always discharge the energy from the trauma. Good morning. Ketchup and mustard. Hi. Awareness does not always equal completion. So when we're working through our stuff, walking through it, taking a look at, so far so good. It's cold here. Understanding doesn't help us clear always. We carry it in our body. We carry the trauma. We carry the meaning. We carry this sensation from the time that it happened, the first time it happened, and then we build on that. Yes. So when we're clearing, we're actually rewiring the nervous system and resetting it. So that takes some time. Gives us a feeling of safety. So we have less charge around it, and the energy of it clears. There's lots of different ways of doing that. And it's sometimes it can be one and done, but I have not experienced that personally. Hi, Mel. Good morning, Alessandra, and ketchup and mustard. Interesting. It's just amusing me. So we're talking about the clearing versus processing. Actual clearing. Processing doesn't clear. Right? I can process all day long. I can talk about it all day long, and I keep recreating it, keep looping through it, and keep wondering why I keep getting triggered. Because I'm not actually clearing them. I might be peeling layers of it. But if I keep reliving all the emotions and all the drama, I keep recreating it in the body. And I hold it in the body by doing that. And I used to do that a lot. That was a lot of my life. Let me tell you all about the story and all about the drama, because I was very much in the drama. And I thrived on it. And then there came a point where, not liking it. It doesn't feel good. I don't want to keep looping through this. I don't want to keep carrying it. I don't want to keep telling the story. I'm sick of telling the story. That's the point I got to. I got sick of telling the story. So if you're sick of telling the story, then it's time to find ways to reset your nervous system, rewire the nervous system, so that you can actually clear the energy of it. Because it's all energy. If we can step back from all of our emotional drama, and look at it as energy and where does it live in the body, it's a whole lot easier. It just gets easier. But I like the story, man. I build up the story, and because I had to be the hero in the story. Hi, James. Right? To be the hero in my own story. Now, I didn't know that in the moment. I couldn't tell you that's what I was doing then. Like, I can look back and go, oh, yeah, I had to do that because that kept me in that drama. Do you know people that they love the chaos and they love the drama? And you're wondering, why? Why do you do that? Well, we all have our own way of doing it. Some are louder than others. But if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired of telling that story, there are other ways to do it. Much simpler ways. When we're ready. It's a process. It's not a one and done. That's not been my experience. Some people have had one and done, I'm pretty sure, depending what the experience was. And how ready they were to release it and to actually shift and change, truly change and transform the behavior. Because we build a lot of identity around our stories. I was angry for a long time. Now I'm warm. Okay, let's just keep it right here though. So being angry, man, I fed that. And I carried that, and I talked about it, and I told you all about it. Because it helped me keep that alive. I thought I was protecting myself. What happens when every time we get angry about something, every time we tell that same story, we're abandoning ourselves emotionally. Because we're not really feeling that feeling to allow it to clear. Nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with any of it. It's what we've known. It's what we learned. We've been programmed to do that. A little bit. Yeah. I have some notes I want to cover. So the clearing. So we talked about the processing. Talk therapy. That's why talk therapy. That's why people keep going to a therapist and they talk about it and they keep digging up those emotions and they keep talking about it and they keep going back and they wonder, why am I not changing? Why is it not working? Because that's what it is. It has its purpose, for sure. But if I'm not making progress in that, then for me, I'll look at something else. I say that and I'm like, man, I loved to talk about it. Let me tell you all about it. Let me tell you every little nuance, every little detail. And, I was going to say people don't really care. Some people care. People love us. They care. But sometimes I get tired of hearing myself talk about it, and they get tired of hearing me talk about it. There's no winning. There's no movement. It's not about winning, like winning or losing. There's no movement. And it has its place, right? It has its place. I always like to share people like what I've learned, what I've been processing, what I've been going through, because it helps them know they're not alone. Hi. Couldn't find me live from the 10 a.m. on my other page. I'm on my, when I'm on my phone, I don't know how to get the link from YouTube to there. It just takes you to the post. So I'm glad you made it here. You found me. One day I'm going to get it all figured out and I'll be golden. But right now, you know, I still look at technology and go, I don't know how to do it all. So I'm glad you found me. You figured it out. Okay. So we're talking a lot about it. Keep recreating it for ourselves. I have found understanding, because I love to understand things. Waiting on the channel, you might have to turn off the notification and then turn it back on. It's a YouTube thing. Don't ask me. I just know that I've had to do that with some of my people. I wasn't getting hardly any notifications, and I had to go back in and you can unsubscribe and resubscribe and then turn on the notification, or just turn it on and off. Yes. And I didn't put it out until this morning because I thought I was going to be here at 10:30, but things changed. So I always go, oh, there's the reason. That's why I didn't put it out. So 10 o'clock seems to be the golden time for me. And you. So yeah, computers, right? I'm way better. I am so much better with computers. And I stopped telling the story about me and technology, blah, blah, blah. I stopped telling it. And learn how to do it. And whatever I don't know, I just let it be okay. It's all good. All right, so clearing. When we're clearing the energy, we're actually working below our words because we're working in the nervous system to clear the energy. That's what we did with the one-time thing I did with lay down the stone. I think that was how it was labeled. Because we pick up things along the way and we start carrying it, and we don't even remember where we got it or how it happened or why I'm still carrying this stone. But over time, it just gains weight. It's like having that anchor on your ass, and you just keep collecting the crap along the way, and it's heavier and heavier and heavier. When I got I wasn't divorced, it was a boyfriend. My friend said, oh, you just lost a 180-pound anchor off your ass. That's exactly right. And I had a good visual of that, right? I had a good visual of that anchor being just dropped off. Yeah. Yes. When, so when I talked a little bit last week about getting triggered, and I was listening to something, I don't know, I was driving, so a few days ago, Alan Watts. I think it was Alan Watts. Sharing a story. You can find it. It was 90% of the people don't do this and 10%. Anyway, so I'm listening to this story about a man who, his competitor just did this scathing review and just ripped him to shreds. Yes, I did. I listened to something else when I was driving this. Was it this week? I can't remember because we had the storms here, so I didn't go anywhere for a while. So, you know, time's a blur. It's already the end of January. Tomorrow's full moon. So I took this document. I printed it. I printed the document. When I printed the document from this person that sent me an email about all the things I had done and how I verbally abused and toxic and all, you know, the list. And when I did that, I was like, she can just fuck off. That's kind of where I was at. So I was pretty charged about it. So in the story, he's talking about a man who, his competitor just ripped him to shreds. in the public, ruining his reputation. And after he got done wallowing around and feeling sorry for himself, which is what I used to do when I got triggered or someone criticized me or anything like that, I would wallow in that because I would own it like it was true about me. And so this man wrote on the top of the paper, what if it's true? He took 18 months to unpack this list. I don't want to take that long. I've already done enough of this work, if you will. I didn't need to do that long. I simply, once I worked through the initial, like, what is really going on here, intuitively I was correct. And I got to see, how the story got formed and whatever she plugged it into to pull up all the things about one incident. And I looked at it. I thought, well, I suppose it could be considered verbal abuse. One incident that we had where we both triggered each other became our whole relationship. How many of you done that? How many times have you done that? One thing happens, I got triggered, you got triggered, and suddenly everything is shit. The whole relationship is garbage because of one thing. Now we're building a case and looking for more evidence to support my case. Yeah, I did that. I did that a lot in my life. Because I thrived on the drama and the chaos. I was processing. I wasn't clearing. I was processing. Right? And so I unpacked it. I looked through and I read it. I saw the thread. I saw the zero responsibility on the other part. I also saw the bigger truth is it wouldn't have mattered how I said it. When I set the boundary and said I'm no longer going to emotionally rescue, energetically rescue. I'm no longer doing any of that. So you can no longer be dependent on me then. So it wouldn't have mattered how I said what I said. In hindsight, I'm like, I could have said that so different. I really could have. I know somebody can relate to that. The abrasiveness. Could I have said it different? Yes, absolutely. Did I? No. So the truth is I didn't say it different. I was very abrasive and very reactionary to her. Underneath all that, it wouldn't have mattered. There would have been another reason created to blame and to not stay in the relationship. To the mirror, I've done that. So I see it clearly. And then I get to be okay with it. I get to clear the energy by looking at myself in the mirror, where I've been that, where I've done that, and how I've moved through it. There's a lot of ways to do that. But I don't have to keep telling the story to relive the drama, to recreate the trauma. I don't have to keep doing that. And I didn't collapse into what was said. I was mad at first. I was hurt. But I didn't collapse into, oh my God, this is the truth and I'm this horrible, terrible person. And I used to do that. I would wallow around it because it validated how I felt about myself. At that point, years ago. I was hurt and I was angry this time. And I went, well, that's not my shit. Can I be that? Sure. Am I that? No. Right? So we look at it. I don't have to keep reinventing it. But that took process. That took time and process and creating safety for myself. so that when I receive something like that, I can actually step back and not get in. I did not do anything. I did not reply. I told her I read it. She came back with something else. I'm like, I said nothing. And then the next day she sent me something else, like nothing ever happened. And I'm like, absolutely not. I'm absolutely not going to be engaged. I won't be nice. And that's not who I am. And I don't want to play there anymore. When we've cleared it, when we've actually cleared energy and the old trauma, we can respond instead of react. Bypass her. Exactly right. So I didn't get hijacked by it. I simply looked at it and I felt what I felt. I didn't give it any meaning. I just I wanted to, and I did for a minute. I wanted to like draw her part in. I'm like, this is really what's my part, period. Not what they did. Not how I can justify my part, but what was my part? That's part of the clearing when I stopped doing that blame game. So we've all developed survival skills. Every one of us has developed survival skills based on what we experienced as children. The nervous system got wired in those survival skills. If we were traumatized, it was violent, it was a look, it was a comment, it was a emotionally unavailability. It's not as important what it was, it's how we interpreted it. And if safety was not created for us, we learned how to do that to survive. So the nervous system gets wired for that. Then when we are like, this isn't working anymore, how do I make it different? And I start to change, the nervous system wants to go right back to what it knows and how it created its safety, whether it's actual safety or not. So the things that we think are safety, the nervous system isn't wired for that safety. If I'm wired for drama and chaos, then I'll keep creating that until I have rewired to process the nervous system to identify safety as something else. That makes sense? Questions? Yeah, I forgot about this. When we have an old wound and we never got to actually, hold on, I'll read that in a second. And we never got to complete, we instantly shut off to protect ourselves. So we didn't get to complete the emotional process of that when it happened. When we learn how to do that, that's one way to help to start to clear when we complete the process. I am beginning to feel myself taking that pause and breath is life-changing. It is very life-changing. I am beginning to feel myself stepping into a more conscious clearing. Good. Without the boomerang effect back into the old drama, baby stepping. Yes. Awesome. I love that. I love hearing that. Taking the pause. The breath is so powerful. Breathwork is an amazing tool to clear trauma and drama out of our body. An amazing tool. There's very simple ways to do it. And we're like, how does that even work? One of my clients, she's like, it's so simple. I never thought it would work, but it's so effective. And we were on a call the other day and I just said something and it instantly, the pain that she was having left. We'd already been doing the tool of the breathing and clearing the energy, but just as soon as we named it, it left. It's a powerful, powerful tool. And there are many ways to do it. There's not just one. Like you find the tool that works for you, and then and maybe that works for a while, and then you're like, okay, I need another layer or level. But most of them are super simple. In pausing and breathing, I've said it in I don't know how many videos we've had here together. So we've done a lot of that. Pause, breathe. Pause and breathe. Feel it. Embody it. When you embody it, you embrace it, and you allow it to move. It doesn't mean keep wallowing in it. Embodying and embracing means keep feeling it until you feel it shift. Where do you hold it in your body? When you just sit with that, see, we get really uncomfortable. Oh no, that's not safe. We can't feel our feelings. And that's millennia. That's so many generations of survival. Feelings, there were no time for feelings when you're trying to survive. I was just reading a story of these kids who survived this winter in the middle of some location, probably AI created story, but many of those are true. And there was 8 kids, and the oldest one was 12 when the parents froze to death. And they're still in the winter. So they survived the winter, however many months that was. But when you're just trying to survive something like that, there's no time to grieve. There's no time to feel what you feel. All you can do is survive. And that gene comes through the generations. Even my parents, your parents, they're of that, like, don't feel it, shove it all down, brush it on the carpet, deeper, deeper, deeper. And then we come in and we're like, now we're done with that. It's time to unpack that stuff and break those cycles. So rather than continuing the talk therapy, and I'm not dismissing that. Hear me. I am not dismissing talk therapy. But if you keep doing talk therapy, you keep recreating it. You're not actually clearing it. You got to have the disruptors in the pattern. So breath work, pausing, taking a moment to pause and breathe. When you pause and you take a deep breath, it expands your nervous system, and you can actually respond instead of react. That's just a simple, super incredibly effective, simple tool. Anybody have questions on this? How does one of the ways to let's see, I want to say that. Pay attention to the timeline. That's what I'm gonna. When you're processing or clearing. Initially, we have a reaction often because our nervous system is maybe still clearing the residual, the last pieces. So we have the reaction to something. How long does it take us to come off the ledge? How long does it take us to pause? Start to notice. So this thing that happened last week, a couple days. I was really in it for a couple days. I talked to someone like on the 3rd day. She said, yeah, it was pretty intense. and I was just simply being with it. I wasn't talking a lot about it. And then come into this week, and now I'm like, let's just clear all this out because I don't want to keep walking around with this. So rather than weeks, days, a couple days, months, I'm like in this really short window of time. And I didn't collapse into it. So notice what happens. I felt it. I got hurt. I got angry. Right? I didn't fall into all that and wallow in it. I noticed it. And I breathed into it. And I felt it. And instead of creating a story around it, I just felt it. The clear distinction there for me. That's big for me. It's big for you. Instead of starting to wind down in the story where we create the loop, you simply feel it. When we feel it, and it's moving, it's clearing, we can step back and actually see the bigger picture of it. The bigger picture for me was like, no matter how it would have gone, it was going to end. That was going to be the outcome. How it ended is how it ended. Could have been different, sure. But it was going to end because I set a different boundary. Y'all know this. Not new. When you start setting boundaries that you have boundaries with, or that you created a different boundary, and you're like, that's not working for me, and then you do new boundaries, some of them just leave. Because you're no longer their emotional savior. Or energetic savior. And they go away. It's a good thing. It really is a good thing. Let's see. Let's throw one for here. And then I'll do a moon. This is all right in alignment with this the full moon is tomorrow. So we're in the energy of this right now. If you have crystals you like to set out and clear, it's a good time. We're wrapping up I was reading something about it. So we're wrapping up the 9-year, the year of the snake. We're actually wrapping this up on this full moon. So being intentional about, what you're looking at, what's clearing. Oh, darn it, almost had it. Okay. Sky Bridge, number 47. This is an 11. Possibility for union. This is the Shaman's Dream, this deck. And this is the card. Possibility for union. Feels like a possibility for union with ourself. That's what that feels like to me, given the conversation we're having right here. So it's union with yourself. Where we stop disowning our feelings or dismissing our feelings or minimizing our feelings, and we simply let them be what they are. We've spent the last year in some really intense stuff clearing and coming up, and when is it gonna end? It just felt endless, and it's deeper. They're deeper layers. It's most of us, yeah, I'll say most. I'll qualify it like that. We've done the big glaring stuff. So we were finer tuning the stuff that we're clearing out and getting to the, all the stuff that, like, what's showing up for you. You don't have to go look for it. You don't have to manufacture it. It's simply going to come, and you're going to feel it. You're going to see it, or somebody's going to say something, and you're going to be like, I thought I'd already done that. Right? It's just telling you the deeper layer showed up. Some of it's the final, some of it's residual. How many of you are having those just random memories that you haven't had or you haven't thought about, and probably from the time it happened? So, coming up to the surface, and you're like, wow, thought of that in years, or that person. Moonflower, take a risk. Matches my shirt. Take a risk. Take a risk. It might feel risky to do something different and to simply feel without any story. And then watch what your nervous system does, because it will buck. It just does. Nothing wrong with it. RST, moonrise. Moon rising. I'm on the wrong one. It's moonflower. Take a risk. Whew. Additional meanings. I haven't read the meaning yet. Additional, take a trip. Be optimistic. Love yourself more. Life is short. Make the most of it. Believe in yourself. Do you have the courage to spin the wheel of life and see what comes up? Playing it safe will not serve your current situation. No one is saying you should take a massive risk and gamble everything away, but nor should you refuse to make your move. It could be time for you to adopt a more positive mental attitude and see your glass as half full. A regular gratitude practice will help. For example, every Friday night, try doing your practice. I have a gratitude journal every morning. Try doing your practice with friends or family for a few weeks. Adventure is calling you somehow, and this card has come up because your higher self wants you to look further into it. Marianne Williamson famously wrote, "Your playing small does not serve the world." You remember that? Yeah, it's old stuff coming up in meditation. Yes. And she says it's not our light. It's not the dark that we're afraid of. It's shining our light as bright as we are in the world. That's what we're afraid of. Being as powerful, remembering how powerful we are. We're not these pitiful little human beings that have to go to the doctor every time something is symptomatically comes up, or our life doesn't go the way we want. We're just not the victim. We're not the victim here. We came here to remember. And that's some of the old stuff coming up. We're here to remember. How many of you like drew symbols as a kid? I'd sit and I would draw these circles. And I'd go around and around and around this circle until I had this big thing, and I would just like doodling. But how many of you have done those things? Or you drew maybe a star. Remember the stars they used to put on our paper? The pentagram? It's our system remembering. But the mind, we like to close it off. It's just a doodle. It's just what I do. So we're remembering. We're remembering our power. We're remembering our, I don't know if I call it gifts, but I say gifts, but we have way more power than we've ever been told, honored, witnessed. Doodles, yes. And those that did, we know what happened. We experienced it. Because they had plant medicine. Healed people. Yeah. I'll stop there. Let's see. Yeah, that's good for that one. Take a risk. Take a risk. There's some crystal mining out here I want to go do when the weather changes. All right, one more. I'm going to draw a talisman card. Questions? Any of you have any questions? Circles and stars all the time, right? Right? Absolutely. But remember those plastic things? They might not have been plastic in the beginning. They had little grooves, and you'd put your pencil in it and you draw the circle, or you go around this long thing. I don't remember ever having those, but I remember playing with them. What's our talisman for today? Let's call it for this full moon. We'll do it for the full moon. Just so we have a few days we're gonna dropping the cards. I have two. Luna. Just the moon. Spirograph. That was it. Yes, that was it. Elixir of life. Let me see. Elixir of life. I like that. All right. Mortality is a reminder that life is short. The Elixir of Life card does not offer immortality, but shows up in a reading to remind you that there are things that are greater than us, and by adopting this philosophy, we can become part of a whole that is of itself immortal. We want both simplicity and abundance, and seeing the pure energy connecting us to be liberating. This card can be used in a variety of ways that can best be determined by you. So next to it in the book, there's a... Did I skip it? No, I went backwards too far. So you see the picture of it that was on the card, and then you see the symbol. Can you see it? I'll just let you feel that. I had a friend who, she would draw these, just, they seemed odd. They were elaborate. She would like meditate, and then she would just draw on the, they were like portals. They were like different portals and different language that were coming through to her. And she just, she's like, I don't know what all this means. Well, I don't know what all of it means either. It's something that you're going to have to pray about and feel into. Luna. But yeah, she did some really, like, the symbol reminded me of her because she would draw symbols like that. This card represents Luna, the freedom of desire and the illuminated path of moonlit dreams. The night can bring comfort to let your imagination fly and to show your wild side. In the dark, our subconscious can bring to the surface vivid clues of a hidden situation. You can achieve your goals and desires if you pay close attention to the limitations of logic and reason. Yes. Use the card to conjure some moon magic and to evoke prophetic dreams, epiphanies, and your imagination. You can also use this card if you're having trouble sleeping. And I'll stop there. Here's the symbol of it. Pretty cool, huh? Yes. All right, lovelies. Any questions or anything else? Let me ask. So honor yourself. Embrace the energy of this moon and feel into what's coming to the surface to be cleared. Not to be processed, to be cleared. It's coming in, it's moving out, and breathe into it. Just do that pausing and breathing and allowing the energy to move. And watch what your nervous system does. Because each time we take that incremental step, sometimes they're micro, sometimes they're incremental, sometimes it's a full step. But each time we do that, we're rewiring the nervous system to create a different kind of safety for ourselves. A kind that we actually feel safe in. And that gives us the space to thrive and to live in a different way. Have a beautiful weekend. Enjoy this energy of the moon. It's getting lighter. We're moving into the horse energy, and the horse energy is about freedom, movement, action. It doesn't mean that there won't be some stuff showing up for us to continue clearing, but it's definitely a much lighter energy. I've been feeling that coming in, so the heaviness is leaving, and you're very welcome, and the lightness is coming in, so get ready. Keep doing your own clearing and your own transformation and your own work, because that's where we're at. All right, lovelies. I will see you here next week. I'm thinking of my calendar. Yeah, 10 o'clock is the plan. Have a fabulous weekend. Enjoy this moon. Later, friends. I felt the shift Monday and Tuesday. Yeah, you're very welcome. Good. Love that. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. I love you. I'll see you next time.